of his late close friend. Riley's family hanging on to hope.
I just want to just keep my mind on being positive for him, so everything gonna be all right.
Investigators say at least 2 gunmen fired from a dark-colored SUV before speeding away. 28th Ward Alderman Jason Irvin says he was trick-or-treating with his child just an hour before the shooting.
It's probably been one of the worst days of my aldermanic career to get that type of news.
Yesterday, dozens gathered at the scene to speak out against gun violence and demand change. Breakthrough Urban Ministries will hold a news conference there at 10 a.m., while Alderman Irvin is planning to gather at 6 tonight with religious leaders. Meanwhile, Riley's family is asking for the public's prayers.
We asked other people to pray for his strength and recovery because he was a lovable and likable person. Everybody around here loved him and liked him.
Now, a neighborhood has really been left shaken by this violence. Remember, you've got 14 people who were wounded in this mass shooting, 3 of them children, the youngest just 3 years old. So neighborhood residents as well as community folks really trying to come together to push back on that while they pray for this man that obviously just is fighting for his life. Back to you guys.
Yeah, Evelyn, just breaks your heart and makes you angry. Thank you. Now to the latest on an alleged assault at a high school student in the suburbs. Today we'll hear from the attorneys for that student who say that she was sexually assaulted on campus.
The student attends Homewood-Flossmoor High School. Jessica D'Onofrio is live in the loop, and Jess, the mother has already issued a statement.
That's right. She has issued a statement. And as you mentioned, the victim is now being represented by attorneys here in the Loop. And they plan to hold an afternoon news conference to talk about what they say happened at the high school. Now, the victim's mother says that her daughter, who's a minor, was sexually assaulted on Monday over the course of 20 minutes by a classmate during a morning theater class, which administrators say had broken into small groups. That mother, in a statement, saying during that time she was crying, no one came to her assistance. No staff or professional educator did anything to protect her from this horrific, life-changing event. Flossmoor police say they took a male juvenile into custody and after questioning him at the police department, released him to his father. The investigation ongoing. The school saying the safety and security of our students and staff is paramount. We are committed to following safety protocols and appreciate the patience of our school community. We are all feeling a variety of emotions, including shock, sadness, and anger. Meanwhile, some students at Homewood-Flossmoor High School now planning a walkout tomorrow in protest of what they say is the school's handling of sexual assault complaints past and present. School administrators say, though, that they followed proper protocol on Monday by contacting authorities immediately. However, the mother says her daughter was left sitting in a room for hours. Mark and Val, back to you.
Jess, thank you. Chicago police issued new warnings about car theft starting in Kias and Hyundais. Nearly a dozen of those vehicles have been stolen in the 25th district since October 17th. Several more vehicles were stolen from the area near Washington and Lake. Thefts of those vehicles have spiked after a social media post showing how to steal them. If you own one, police recommend using a steering wheel locking device.
Today, we're going to learn more about Cook County Sheriff Tom Dart's plan to give out free gun locks to families. Dart is teaming up with local children's hospitals for the program. The sheriff's office says gun locks can reduce accidental child shootings by up to 85%.
The man suspected of carrying out that deadly attack on the Highland Park 4th of July parade appeared in court yesterday. Robert Cremo III sitting in a Waukegan courtroom as lawyers on both sides discuss the evidence that's been gathered so far in the case. Cremo faces 117 felony counts for the rampage that left 7 people dead and dozens more hurt. He's due back in court in January. And we've learned nearly $6 million in donations has been dispersed to victims' families and survivors of the shooting. Money from the Together Highland Park Unidos Fund also went to local nonprofits, which are providing mental health services to the community.
New this morning, North Korea fired at least 17 missiles towards South Korea today. That is the most in several years. At least one of them landed near the 10th Sea border. South Korea responded by performing its own missile test in the same area. Monday, a U.S. nuclear-powered submarine arrived off the coast of South Korea as part of the joint U.S.-South Korean drills, which began in August.
It's about to become more expensive to borrow money. The Fed is expected to hike interest rates again today.
It's part of a strategy to bring down inflation, but new figures show that prices just keep going up, along with corporate profits. ABC's Jay O'Brien is live in Washington to explain all of this. Jay.
Mark and Val, we're expecting the Fed to raise those interest rates for the 6th time this year today. The question now is, when will the Fed stop raising rates?
Today, the Fed is expected to raise interest rates by 0.75 percentage point in its ongoing battle to tamp down inflation.
It's going to be a difficult 12-18 months under any scenario.
The average credit card balance is about $6,200, making minimum payments it already costs an extra $1,200 in interest because of rate hikes this year. After today's expected rate hike, those extra interest payments will jump to more than $1,500. In raising rates, the Fed is trying to slow down the economy enough to drive down prices without triggering a recession.
Yeah, the Fed rate hikes are biting the economy. You can see it clearly in the housing market. Mortgage rates are up over 7% for a 30-year fix. It's also had a big impact on the stock markets.
Inflation is hitting the grocery store hard. A dozen eggs up more than $1 last year, a bag of chips now $6.05, and a 2-liter bottle of soda topping $2. All while food companies report record profits. Pepsi saying profits for its chips and drinks rose 20% in the last year, proving many customers are still managing to pay the higher prices, at least for now.
With a little bit of luck on things like the pandemic and the Russian invasion of Ukraine, if nothing else goes wrong, and with some reasonably deft policy making by the Fed, they don't have to be perfect, but they have to be roughly right. I think we'll make our way through with actually experiencing an outright recession.
As for the cost of food, price increases at the grocery store are actually outpacing those in restaurants, according to analysts. So it might not be the worst idea to consider going out for your Thanksgiving dinner. Turkey prices this year are up 23%, Mark.
All right, Jay, thank you. Also today, a new exhibit will open at Midway Airport. It features dozens of veterans who served during World War II and the Korean and Vietnam Wars. Alongside photos and storyboards are plaques with information about each veteran's experience. Among those featured is a 100 years young World War II veteran from the Chicago area.
It is a Powerball Wednesday. The drawing is tonight for $1.2 billion, that jackpot. Jackpot could still go even higher before that drawing, right at 10 o'clock. We'll have the numbers for you on Eyewitness News at 10, and good luck if you're going to head out there and play.
Ooh, 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 I've been writing down my numbers in my head.
You got it all. You got it all.
Yeah.
Set. And you've got your cash disbursements.
Yes,
as well.
I plan to be very generous with it. And you're going to hear more about it when I am the top story tomorrow morning.
Val Warner wins Lotto.
Exactly. It's going to be a great story. First time ever. Player.
Exactly.
Wins the lottery.
I haven't played either, so I'm ready. I'm going to put down some cash
stream
today.
team.
Yeah, the stream team. We're going to be putting down some cash today.
All right. Well, you're live, and local news is just getting started as we stream out loud this morning. Coming up, City Colleges of Chicago making some news this morning with its fall enrollment numbers.
But first, Tracy's got your AccuWeather forecast. A midweek warm-up is on the way. Details are coming up next.
And some sea otters at the shed now have names inspired by the West Coast.
Good morning, and it's a chilly start to our day. I want to emphasize that because I know we've been talking a lot about this unseasonable warmth, but we don't get into that until this afternoon. Today and tomorrow, lots of sunshine. I think we get more cloud cover here on Friday, and that is going to lead us to potentially a very wet Saturday. Sunday, we're going to dry out, still stays mild with highs in the 60s. So yes, in the coming days, it is Saturday that really sticks out as potentially a very wet day. Now, it will still be warm, as you can see, into early next week. We carry on with above average high temperatures. So that looks pretty good. You know, first day of November, even the second day of November today, our average high is 55 degrees. By the end of the month, the average high is 42 and the average low is 29 degrees. Well, right now at O'Hare, we are at 44. It's a mostly clear sky out there. Take a look. Still quite the chill in the air right now. 39 Morris, Rensselaer, 41 Valparaiso, where you've had some fog issues this morning, 42 in Waukegan. Today, on our way up, we're headed for the 70s today. Tomorrow, day after that. Saturday, however, it is going to get windy and it is going to get wet. Roz?
We're looking at some very high travel times right now. We're averaging 40 to 45 minutes, but the Kennedy is 55 minutes. And I wanted to talk about this crash we've been mentioning in the south suburbs. Dalton Police and Fire are on the scene. It's a complete closure on Sibley, Route 83 at the Little Calumet River. Chopper 7 is over it. This was a head-on collision involving a semi and what is left of that car. The car caught fire. The fire is out, but there is debris everywhere. And this closure, they've got Route 83 closed pretty much from Perry to Markham. So that's either side of the river there, and a lot of emergency crews. There's going to be an ongoing investigation. We don't know. We have not heard the extent of any injuries, but you have to imagine that it's going to be very serious. And I suspect that that section of 83 Sibley is going to be closed for quite some time. Val and Mark.
All right. Thank you so much, Roz. Well, the ABC7 I-Team reports that election workers are also facing some really tough times during next week's midterms. The FBI issued a warning about those threats just last month. While that's pushed some election workers to leave their jobs, others were busy recently in Niles trying to set up voting equipment and deal with potential election day issues.
To be honest, I considered bailing out this year because of all the coverage of hassling, intimidation, and threats of election workers, but it's still important enough that election in this country managed to get conducted with organization and with fairness.
Local election officials tell the I-Team they have not had any threats against election workers here in Illinois. One of the biggest races that we're watching, of course, is the race for Illinois governor. Incumbent Governor J.B. Pritzker spent yesterday morning with voters in Calumet City, and Republican challenger Darren Bailey spent Tuesday with voters in York Township and knocking on doors. The midterm election is next Tuesday, less than 1 week away. You can always check our online voting guide for information about the candidates and polling places. You'll find it all on our website and our news app, ABC7Chicago.com. ABC is the place for complete local coverage of the midterm election. We're going to have the results and reaction from all of the big races. Coverage starts at 7 p.m. and you can watch us wherever you stream throughout the evening. Still to come this morning, an FDA panel meets over concerns a medical device may not always work accurately on people of color. Jason?
Hi, I'm Jason Knowles. What's being done to keep you safe and get scooters off the sidewalks? The I-Team is getting answers after finding scooter riders on camera illegally zipping down city sidewalks. Plus, scooter litter piling up. The I-Team investigates tonight at 10 on ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Eyewitness News streaming at 7 continues after a break.
An FDA panel is discussing recommendations for using what are called pulse ox devices on patients with darker skin. Those are the devices that go over your finger and measure the oxygen saturation of the blood. Specifically, the FDA panel is considering whether they should have labels noting that inaccurate readings may be associated with skin color. Those devices work by sending light through your finger. If the device isn't calibrated for darker skin tones, the pigmentation of the skin could affect how the light is absorbed by the sensor, leading to flawed oxygen readings.
The Cook County Assessor's Office is no longer under federal oversight. A federal judge agreed that the office no longer must submit to rules based on the consent decree that governed the office's hiring processes since 2012. The oversight was meant to crack down on corrupt hiring practices. Earlier this summer, the Illinois governor's office was released from a similar hiring limit.
Well, teachers delivered a letter to Mayor Lori Lightfoot and the Chicago Board of Education calling on the city to meet the needs of immigrant students. They say bilingual education is, quote, woefully underfunded. And they say the city hasn't taken steps to provide the resources needed to make sure schools' sanctuaries have spaces, as agreed to in the teacher contract.
The idea of not having sufficient translators available for newcomers and their families is terrifying. Our students deserve the best possible chance at success.
CPS sent us a copy of a letter sent to elected officials outlining its support for migrant students and their families. It includes a newcomer strategy team, and CPS says it continues to invest more in its bilingual students.
Enrollment is up at the city colleges of Chicago. Fall enrollment has risen nearly 7% year over year. That exceeds the Illinois Community College average and the national flat average as well. The city college's chancellor says administrators have been strategic about getting more students access to its schools.
Well, they were rescued from California beaches now to sea otters. I'm calling them city because now they're in the city. Are at the Shed Aquarium have names inspired by the Pacific Coast. Willow got her name after more than 9,000 people voted in a poll. She's named after Willow Creek Beach in Monterey County. Shed caretakers named the other otter Surrey. Yes, and Surrey is named for being on the Central Coast as well. Yes.
Yeah, that's it. Oh, I love it. Oh, that's fantastic. That's great to see. Look at how adorable they are, too. Hanging out, just going over and over. Playing basketball and everything.
Should have named it Kobe or LeBron.
Seriously. And they are city otters now. That is the truth. All right now we're going to link up with our Good Morning America viewers, and I'm going to have an update on TV in just a minute. You'll see it here as well.
And then when we come back, helping others on the field.
Now, an update from ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Good morning at 7:23. I'm Mark Rivera. Chicago police are still searching for the people behind a mass shooting in East Garfield Park Monday night. Today, at the scene of that shooting, there will be two events. First, at 10 o'clock this morning, a group called Breakthrough Urban Ministries will be at California and Polk to speak out against the violence. Then at 6 o'clock tonight, Alderman Jason Irvin and faith leaders will be at the scene also to call for change. Now let's get a check of the ABC7 AccuWeather forecast with meteorologist Tracy Butler. Good morning, Tracy.
Hey there, Mark. Good morning. And it is a good morning. Now, sun up at 7:25 this morning, and we are going to see plenty of sunshine through the day today. As we do take a look at our temperatures right now, it's 44 degrees currently out at O'Hare. It's 51 at Midway, 46 currently in Gary. It's 40 in Joliet, 49 in Woodstock, and 41 degrees right now in Valparaiso. This afternoon, expecting to see those highs. Yeah, not just 50s nor 60s, it's 70s. That's where we are going today, and plenty of sunshine is ahead. We will take a break, Roz, after this.
Now's the time for a healthy start. So let's move. Let's rest and recharge. And put our health first. Let's be well. To do that, let's eat well. Breathe deep. Find joy in the little moments. And do what we love with who we love. Together, let's live well. Advocate Aurora Health.
Welcome back, everybody, to a very busy rush hour. Now, the travel times are averaging 40 to 65 minutes heading inbound, so very crowded conditions. And we've had a lot of crashes this morning. This is new. It's northbound on I-55 near Lamont Road, so very extensive delays from the Will County corridor to the DuPage County corridor. But now we're focused on this terrible crash in South Suburban Dalton. Route 83 Sibley is closed either side of the Little Calumet River. Big delays there, and Chopper 7 is over this horrible crash. It was a head-on collision involving a semi and a car. The car caught fire, and there's debris everywhere. The problem, too, is this is going to take a while to clear, and there's no easy reroute because it's closed. US 6 is your best alternate.
Welcome back. Taking a live look over the city skyline this morning. You see the sun just starting to rise in between the buildings there. I think that's what, or is that a reflection? I'm not sure of the sunrise, but a good start to your Wednesday morning for sure. Some local high schoolers are making Chicago proud. Students at Leo High School helping coach up some Special Olympic flag football teams. Tuesday's games took place on Leo's new turf field, which the Chicago Bears helped fund. Volunteers from Allison and Partners also helped run this morning's competition.
Oh, that's really cool to see. And some young culinary students got to score in the kitchen with the Chicago Bear star.
How lucky. Look at this. Bears running back David Montgomery visited Simeon Career Academy on the city's south side on Tuesday. The teens created the recipes for the event, which aimed to encourage good nutrition for high school athletes. After the cooking demonstration, Montgomery visited with Simeon's football team, too. Ooh, that looks good. Can I get some? Come on.
He looks like one of the kids.
He does, doesn't he?
Just blended right on in there. And I know they were excited to see him there. And speaking of the Bears and more Bears news, the team is getting a new home for radio, that is. The Bears announcing that starting next season, all Bears games will be broadcast on ESPN 1000. In addition to the game, fans will also hear pre- and post-game programming on the network.
And coming up this morning, Sean Patrick Thomas co-starred with the city of Chicago in one of his first roles. Now he's on trial for murder in Reasonable Doubt. We'll talk to the actor about the Hulu series.
You're watching ABC7 Eyewitness News at 7, streaming live now.
Let's take a quick look at some of the stories we'll be watching for you on this Wednesday. There are two events planned today at the scene of a mass shooting that happened in East Garfield Park on Monday night. At 10 this morning, a group called Breakthrough Urban Ministries will speak out against the epidemic of gun violence in the city. Then at 6 o'clock tonight, Alderman Jason Irvin and faith leaders will be at the scene where 14 people were shot, also calling for change.
Metro will discuss whether to raise prices on daily and monthly passes today. The commuter rail's proposed budget for 2023 is about $80 million higher, mainly due to inflation. Metro introduced a flat rate Super Saver pass during the pandemic to attract more riders, but those passes are set to expire December 31st.
This morning, a push to require city workers to plow sidewalks when it snows. Right now, the responsibility falls on businesses and property owners. A local organization that advocates for better infrastructure says some people are unable to remove snow because of disabilities. A rally is planned at City Hall at 9 o'clock this morning.
I think that's a really good idea.
You know what? Hey, take some of the effort out of, the business owner's hands or the property owner's hand. Yeah, absolutely. Elderly,
me.
For sure. Me, you, me, whatever. Good morning. Welcome back. I'm Mark Rivera in for Terrell.
And I'm Val Warner in for me. Let's go outside right now. Sun is coming up. Tracy is standing by to tell us the good news about today's forecast.
The great news. And this morning, though, we do have to get through a little bit of a chill in the air. So I don't want you to think, I'm going to walk out the door and it's going to be so warm, and it's not. It's 44 right now at O'Hare. We get 39 degrees currently in Rensselaer. You get 44 in Oak Park. Right now, 40 degrees in Mount Prospect. Glen Ellen at 43. West Chicago at 38. Burr Ridge right now at 41. 40 currently in Joliet. 46 over in Gary. Today, though, we do have a beautiful day in store, and highs are going to be up into the 70s. So the sun is up. We'll see our temperatures on the rise. Roz?
We have another suburban crash to add to the list. This one is up north in Lake County, Illinois, in Beach Park, Wadsworth at Route 131. Travel times continue to rise, 45 to 65 minutes. That's going to be the range of your inbound commutes between the tri-state and downtown. Big problem remains in Dalton, that full closure on Sibley, either side of the Little Calumet River. That's where Chopper 7 HD is. Terrible crash involving a semi and that small car. There was a head-on collision. The car caught fire. There is debris everywhere, and that road is going to be closed for some time with the cleanup and investigation. Now, the problem is there is no easy reroute to get around this. You've got the Calumet River, you've got industrial areas, so you really, the best bet is to go south and use US 6, because even 130th doesn't go all the way through. Val and Mark, back to you.
Oh, wow, Roz, that's a horrible crash.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
Now to today's Talkers. Topping the Talkers is an ABC News exclusive. Simone Ledward Boseman, the widow of the late beloved actor and Black Panther star Chadwick Boseman.
Yeah, she's sitting down with Whoopi Goldberg, co-host of The View, for the first interview about her unimaginable loss.
I met this person who is this wonderful man, and he then ended up being a global superstar.
Yeah.
And really, after Black Panther came out, it did kind of happen overnight.
Black Panther would forever change Chadwick Boseman's life. It catapulted him to a different stratosphere of fame. The film earned more than $1 billion worldwide, with Chadwick becoming the first Black superhero in the Marvel universe.
We knew that we had something special that we wanted to give the world, that we could be full human beings in the roles that we were playing.
But in 2020, after a hard-fought and private 4-year battle with colon cancer, the 43-year-old actor passed away. Now, the news both shocked and devastated fans around the world. And it devastated his family, including the love of his life, his widow, Simone Boseman.
I can't believe that I was so lucky. I can't believe that I got to love this person. And I also got them to love me too.
Simone, you're with me every day. I have to acknowledge you right now. Love you.
It has been the most challenging 2 years I've ever had in my life.
When you decided not to share what was happening, were you scared somebody was going to dig and find out that he was much iller than people thought?
It was COVID, when things were really starting to spiral. And that meant that everybody was in their house. And there was no pressure for anybody to go outside. It seemed like, is this a crazy coincidence that we get to actually be inside? We get to be here with family, with, together. And everybody in the world is also experiencing this togetherness in the midst of this awful, scary, unpredictable time. Yeah. We kept that circle real. Our circle was basically a dot.
That support was a needed crutch. It would be Simone who would accept the Golden Globe on her late husband's behalf for his role in Ma Rainey's Black Bottom.
I ain't like you, color. I got talent. Oh, me and this we's tight.
He would say something beautiful, something inspiring, something that would amplify that little voice inside of all of us that tells you you can, that tells you to keep going, that calls you back to what you are meant to be doing at this moment in history.
Some days I'm doing worse than I'm really willing to acknowledge, and other days I'm doing better than I feel comfortable admitting.
Right.
You know, the grief really, it moves in.
Howard University was his beloved alma mater, where they recently reestablished their College of Fine Arts program, naming it in his honor.
So we have a scholarship now at Howard, and we have 4 scholars. One of them graduated this past year and, you know, was very proud to be the first graduating Boseman Scholar of the first graduating class of the Chadwick Boseman College of Fine Arts.
One of the scholars is junior acting major Sean Smith.
Chadwick Boseman's legacy has paved the way for me. He showed that you weren't just limited to these basic roles. You could do whatever you want.
And education was a huge, important part of Chadwick's legacy.
Taking this mantle, and we are carrying it to as many voices as we can.
That was so moving. Oh my goodness.
So I know I'm like kind of fighting back the tears right now.
I know.
To hear that from her, to think about the fact that when she called it a dot, that we kept this in a dot, in the timing of that, eerily coincidental that COVID, right when his health became, began to spiral to his untimely death, just kind of gives you the chills to think about. The world had no idea what they were doing, because think about it, when he did Black Panther.
Oh, absolutely.
The whole time he was battling the cancer.
He knew. Yeah, for sure. He was battling it that time. Yeah, definitely. I mean, it is, and it's incredible to see now, now that we know what he went through and what his family went through, and just sort of having people look at colon cancer in a different way in some ways too, and just say, oh, okay, I need to get checked, and maybe younger than I thought that I needed to, you know, and so that's a really powerful legacy as well.
And then for him to have his legacy carry on at,
at
the great Howard University.
You see how, oh my goodness, you see just the joy on that scholar's face, and just, how he knows what the impact that it's made.
To be the inaugural recipient of the Boseman Scholarship, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
So.
Now let's turn to a potential ban on TikTok that we told you about this morning. One FCC commissioner wants the U.S. government to ban TikTok completely. Brendan Carr is one of 5 commissioners with the Federal Communications Commission. He cites concerns about how the Chinese-owned social media app handles the data of American users. So far, the FCC has not commented on Carr's statements. TikTok says it's confident it will satisfy all reasonable national security concerns, but a recent report from BuzzFeed claims that TikTok engineers in China did gain access to some personal information from users, including phone numbers and I think addresses as well. And then you see, we heard from one expert earlier today talking about, okay, what other information could you get from an app like this? Well, you could get facial prints, because you're looking at it the entire time. You can get location data potentially as well. So there are a lot of questions out there, I think, on how some of that data is handled.
But does it make you wonder, like, okay, this is TikTok we're talking about, but who's to say any one of these apps that we're putting on our phone, or every time we open up our phone, like, how do we know?
Google knows where you are at all times. Okay, let me just put that out there. You have Google Maps on your phone.
Yes.
You have the Google app.
Yes.
They know where you are at all times. I mean, let's be real about that. They know. So, but I think it's
just being in the hands of China. That's the scariest.
I think that's the national security concern, that it would be somehow exploited by the Communist Party of China. But I think what's interesting for TikTok's perspective, they said that they're okay with any legislation on privacy that would treat all of those companies the same.
Yeah, well, it's definitely something to think about, especially for
it makes
parents.
Me wonder sometimes.
Yeah, parents out there whose kids are on TikTok. And you know what? It's a lot of adults on TikTok.
There's a ton of adults on
Yeah,
TikTok.
so anyway, okay, ABC7 Eyewitness News continues streaming out loud after the break. We are back in 90 seconds.
Good morning to you. I'm just saying, I really like the snappy music we play in those breaks. Well, the average high today is 55 degrees. Average low is 39 degrees. Record staying intact. Thank goodness, 14, the record low today. Well, as we take a look right now at O'Hare, we're at 44 degrees and mostly sunny skies. Our current temperatures really don't reflect the warmth that's coming our way here today. We have temperatures in the 30s, even low 40s, but our high temperatures today are on their way up, and we will be in the 70s here as we get into the afternoon. Lots of 70s still ahead for us this first week of November, but the weekend does bring rain chances that increase Saturday and windy conditions too. Ross?
We start with red line delays on the CTA southbound trains because of police activity at the Howard station. Big delays on the expressways, 50 minutes to an hour 15. We've got problems off the expressways. We're continuing to monitor this terrible crash head-on collision in Dalton. Sibley remains closed between Perry and Markham, which is either side of the Little Calumet River. And then we've got a new crash on 355, the Veterans Memorial Tollway, northbound near 75th. Big delays there. In fact, you can see the crash on our tollway camera. We do have lane blockage. We do have state police dealing with it, and it is causing that big backup for about a mile and a half. Val and Mark.
All right, Roz, thank you. Well, Halloween is over, and now it's time to think about Thanksgiving.
Yeah, Thanksgiving, not Christmas yet.
Thank you.
Right, Thanksgiving. And this year's feast, it's going to cost you a little bit more.
We don't want to think about that.
No, turkey is forecasted to cost 23% more this year over last year, according to a new Wells Fargo report. And it's not just inflation. The bird flu wiped out turkey inventory, and it made farmers have to quarantine them, and it kind of impacted things that's hitting prices. Eggs are going to cost you more as well, and the price of butter and flour are also up.
Yeah, and guess what? That's why Wells Fargo says this may be the perfect year to eat out on Thanksgiving. The cost of dining out is only up, look at I say only, it's only up 5.79%, while an overall grocery trip is up 9.81%. That's why I say only, because I'm just saying by comparison's sake, it's going to be a lot less expensive to eat out this year. Now, the question is, where do you eat out?
Where are you eating out on Thanksgiving? Right.
Never considered it before. You know, although I know some people, our makeup artist Laura, she eats out, I think it's at the Drake or the Peninsula. They have it.
And you're right. Yes, one of the hotels does do like a Thanksgiving,
nice
sort of thing.
Spread.
And a lot of times, I think if you go out for Thanksgiving, they actually give you a little doggy bag with like leftovers, so you can have some leftovers the next day too, which is cool.
That's the best part of Thanksgiving.
That's
the fun of Thanksgiving, is eating it the next day when all the flavor and the seasonings are settled in.
Turkey sandwich with some cranberry sauce the next day.
And wait, are you a mayo or Miracle Whip?
Oh, I'm a mayo.
Me too.
Yeah,
Me too.
I'm all like, give me the mayo.
Yeah, no Miracle Whip, mayo only.
No Miracle Whip for sure. I love mustard.
Okay, good.
Mustard, oh heck yeah, you gotta have mustard.
Gotta
too.
have a little hot mustard.
Hot mustard, yes, hot mustard. Come on, I get the Dijon. You kidding me?
Yeah, okay. Well, yeah.
Do you have any great on?
My kind of ham sandwich guy.
Exactly. All right. And while you're talking about holidays, Ralphie is returning.
That's right. This morning we're getting a look at A Christmas Story Christmas, the sequel to the 1983 film A Christmas Story.
Twice, I triple dog dare you.
Oh, I got it now.
That's brutal.
Okay, the trailer includes plenty of references to the original. The new film is set in the 70s. Remember, the original was set in the 40s. Peter Billingsley returns to the role of Ralphie Parker and tries to connect with his kids over the holidays. The movie debuts on HBO Max November 17th. So you don't have high hopes for it.
Okay, I hope this is good. I really do, because I absolutely love A Christmas Story. Look at him all grown up. I love it. But this preview is making me think this looks like a high octane Home Alone style thing. I think the thing about the original Christmas Story is it is so homey and sweet and wholesome, and you see this boy sort of go into young adulthood in this moment, and then go through some really big moments.
So you think this is going to be a little too cheesy?
This one's going to be cheesy, and they're like editing it with the guy going on the, it's like slow-mo, like slow motion in A Christmas Story? Jeez Louise, come on.
Okay, well, we're going to have to wait till the 18th and get your review on it.
I know, I need Roper to get in on this.
And he probably will, so stay tuned for that. Right now, we're going to take a break. More news coming your way in 90 seconds. Reasonable Doubt is a red-hot new legal series streaming on Hulu. Sean Patrick Thomas plays an accused killer, and the audience can't figure out yet if he's guilty or not.
But Jose Sanders is trying to find out for us during a chat with the actor. Check it out.
I'm sorry for not trusting you. It's just been a lot.
You're kind of known for playing good guys, but this guy is in deep. He's on trial for murder.
He doesn't care how he comes off. He doesn't care about presenting that face to the world. So there's something about that that's freeing and exciting as an actor to get to play. And it's true. I mean, it's kind of a cliche that the bad guys have more fun, but it's true. I can speak from experience.
No more secrets.
The series is from Onyx Collective, focused on projects created by people of color.
When you step on the set at Reasonable Doubt, when you look behind the camera, look in front of the camera, almost everybody is a person of color. And there's something about that that's magical to see, you know? It's something about that that makes you feel like, oh, wow, like this is what it must feel like for everybody else. And now I get a chance to feel this way.
Kerry Washington is an executive producer and directed the pilot episode.
Steps ain't no square dance.
It's all right, I dance in circles, probably around you.
Oh! You worked with Kerry Washington before, right here in Chicago, and you both were just babies.
Yes,
now
we
you're full
were.
circle.
We were.
Now she's your boss.
I'm supposed to be dizzy by now, remember? All those circles you danced around me?
I have the best memories of Chicago. I love Chicago. We had so much fun. We went out almost every single night doing research for Save the Last Dance.
You tell me, Mamie, how is risking your life gonna help him?
Thomas appears as Mamie Till Mobley's loving partner in Till, as she turned her son's gruesome murder into a lesson for the nation.
Honor and privilege of my life to get to work on this story. Gene Mobley was Mamie's fiance at the time. He was Emmett's father figure. He taught Emmett how to drive. He bought him clothes. He took him to baseball games.
All I know is I'm looking guilty of a crime I didn't commit.
One final question. Did Braden do it?
You know what? What Braden did or what he didn't do will soon be revealed in just a few weeks, so just sit tight.
Jose Sanders, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Nice job, Jose, with that.
Yeah, seriously, definitely great job and try to get down to the details for us. I appreciate that.
I binged this show last week over a course of a few days. It is red hot,
good?
like
All
we
right,
said.
nice.
Yeah. And I do want to know if Braden did it or not. We'll be right back.
Eyewitness News streaming at 7 continues after a break. Hey, in case you missed it, history was made down in Florida. The Falcon Heavy took off Tuesday. It's the first time SpaceX has launched the rocket in 3 years. The vessel carrying classified U.S. military equipment. This was the 50th successful launch for SpaceX and its owner, Elon Musk.
Well, thanks for watching Eyewitness News at 7 a.m.
I'm going to have some news updates for you, and Tracy Butler and Roz Barron will talk traffic and weather during Good Morning America.
From everyone here at ABC7, have a great day. We'll see you again tomorrow morning at 7 a.m.
This has been Eyewitness News, streaming at 7. Here in Chicago, our weather is always changing. That's why ABC7 Eyewitness News is always there.
There when you need us.
Giving you the most accurate forecast.
Anytime.
On any screen, tracking severe storms.
With live Doppler 7 Max, the most advanced technology.
So you know how to prepare.
No matter where you live, we're there when you need us. ABC7 Eyewitness News, your AccuWeather station.
You see the look on his face?
I know how you feel.
My biggest fear was on that.
But I knew I was never alone, because people care.
So walk right in.
Get back on.
Step right up. And to everyone who sees anyone bullying, don't just watch. Act.
Together, we can put an end to bullying.
You can learn more at disney.com/choose-kindness.
Look out, Wheel. Here she comes.
Big money.
R.
T.
Hit it. Thanks. My shoes were a little scuffed.
Oh, come on.
We have $1 million winner.
I'd like to solve fun everywhere you look.
Sounds like fun.
That's what we like to hear.
Wheel of Fortune, weeknights at 6:30 on ABC7. Now, an update from ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Good morning at 7:56. I'm Mark Rivera. The attorneys for the family of a student who was allegedly sexually assaulted at a suburban school will hold a news conference today. The victim's mother says the assault happened Monday at Homewood Flossmoor High School over the course of 20 minutes by a classmate during a morning theater class. Flossmoor police say they took a boy into custody, but after questioning him, he was released to his father. School administrators say they followed proper protocols on Monday. Today's news conference is at 1 o'clock. We'll check weather and traffic coming up next.
Well, good morning to you. These temperatures, they're still kind of low this morning. I know we have a really nice warm day on tap. Not just yet, however. So prepare for this when you head out the door now. 46 at O'Hare, 51 at Midway, 50 over at Northerly Island. Today, though, during the afternoon, plenty of sunshine, highs in the low 70s. Even tomorrow, I know, we're in the first days of November, and it is looking nice and toasty. By the weekend, Saturday, our next chance of rain. Roz?
We are looking at travel times anywhere from 50 minutes to an hour 15. Look at 355, solid from before the Stevenson up to 75th because of a crash. And in fact, this crash at Lamont on the Stevenson on 55 is still causing delays. And we've got new crashes inbound on the Stevenson at Cicero. We've got a crash with injuries on the Ryan at 67. So that's just adding to the delays off the expressways. We have suburban crashes in Warrenville, Route 59 and Continental Drive. Look at 59 north of Butterfield. Terrible, terrible delays. And we still have this situation in Dalton, 83 closed at the Calumet River.